Another day, another conversation about what Brian Gutekunst had to say in his Navy golf vest. Looking very country club, just as I said yesterday. He gave a fantastic update on Jordan Morgan. We're going to break that down. I'll let you know what he had to say. Then we're going to talk a lot about this Packers offensive line and what it could look like going into 2025. Before we go on, though, I got a major channel announcement. It saddens me to say this is my final video on the Packers Report. This is the final video of the Packers Report. It's been awesome bringing you guys coverage throughout the last couple of weeks. The bosses just kind of thought that, you know what, it's best if this channel doesn't go on, and unfortunately, I'm getting the axe with it. So just want to say thank you guys for everything. Psych! April Fools, if you believe me, you fell for it, you got to do one thing for me and like today's video. I got you. I couldn't keep it going much longer, so do me a favor if you have not already. And I got you. Go ahead, hit that thumbs up button. Alrighty, the jokes, the games are over. I promise it. Let's talk about some Green Bay Packers football. Of course, NFL annual meeting was yesterday. Brian Gutekunst spoke to the media. He talked about a lot of stuff. We talked yesterday about little Jair Alexander. Let's talk about Jordan Morgan. This is what Brian Gutekunst had to say. He said, I think talking about Rasheed Walker's done a lot of really, really good things for us. We're going to have a lot of competition there. Not just at his spot, but all across the offensive line. We've got guys like Jordan Morgan, who I think is going to really emerge. It will be good to see that competition, and we'll be better for it. So it sounds like Jordan Morgan is going to compete a little bit for that left tackle spot, and I think this is a good thing. Okay, now do remember, Jordan Morgan did get the entirety or majority or every single snap he played in college, I should say, was at that left tackle position. Then he came to the NFL, was drafted in the first round last year, played right guard only for 6 games, then was out with a shoulder injury for the rest of the season. You know how it goes. But when you look at the offensive line depth chart right now, as we've done a decent bit over the past couple of days, it's not a bad group at all, okay? I'm really curious to see what Aaron Banks is going to do, especially with that $19 million contract. Elgton Jenkins moving to center is going to be the biggest question mark going into 2025. But this is a group that I would be confident in going into the season. And part of that reason is because that's basically the group you played with last year, minus Elgton Jenkins at the center, move him to left guard, put Josh Myers in there. But they were still ranked in the top 6 per PFF offensive line rankings. Of course, you had Philadelphia at the top, Denver, Tampa Bay, Detroit, Buffalo, and all the way at number 6. A top 6 unit was the Green Bay Packers. So get your red pens out for me. Grade the offensive line. All right, give them an A, B, C, D, or F. I really, really love what they are able to do in 2024. Of course, every group has their warts. Every group has their ups and their downs. But you give them a grade for me down below right now. I will admit, alrighty, it is a little confusing that the competition is going to be between Jordan and Walker. I guess part of the competition. And I say that because Rasheed Walker is really, really given this team a good past couple of years, especially when it comes to the pass blocking. If you look at the PFF grades and stats from 2024 compared to 2023, he improved in every metric except his run blocking. That's always been a massive question mark, and I think that's probably the biggest reason why Jordan Morgan is going to get a run at that left tackle spot, at least competing-wise, but he's given you over 1,800 snaps. His pass blocking is a 79 this past year, was a 74 his first year, and I think he really has surprised everybody through these first 2 years. Of course, he's going into a contract year this year, but however, regardless of all that, Jordan Morgan has been exactly what you've needed him to be at that left tackle position, especially, like I said, when it comes to pass blocking. This is my projected O-line. This is how I feel sitting right now. I know what Brian Gutekunst just said about Jordan Morgan. I know he said there's going to be a little bit of competition. I still think the nod's going to go to Rasheed Walker, although Morgan did play tackle all throughout college. I just think that they're going to want to give him another run at that right guard spot. Obviously, they only got to see him in a limited action through those 6 games. But still, I think this is a group you go with: Rasheed Walker, Aaron Banks, Elgin Jenkins, and then, of course, Jordan Morgan and Zach Tom on that right side. That's my projection right now, but who knows? Jordan Morgan could go into camp, compete with Rasheed Walker, blow everybody's doors off, and get that left tackle spot. But I just kind of feel like you kind of want all your best players on the field on that offensive line, and sitting Rasheed Walker might not be the best step forward for this Packers team. Coming up, I got more on the offensive line. We're going to talk a little bit more about this group. Then I'm going to give you a couple of draft targets to look at heading into the 2025 NFL Draft. But before that, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, okay, because we have got you covered. Do you want a channel that covers the Packers every single day? If you answer yes to that question, you got to do one thing for me, and that's hit that subscribe button. We give you a video every single day right here on the channel. We cover everything: trade rumors, free agency news, draft rumors, mock drafts, anything you want on the Green Bay Packers, you got it right here. So subscribe today and join us. I will say this. I'm really, really confident in this group, okay? I want to get that out there in the open. They were a top 6 unit last year. I think they have every right and every opportunity to be a top 6 unit in 2025. With that being said, needs some depth. It needs some depth. We knew that depth was going to be an issue going into this offseason. You didn't know that Josh Myers was going to be on the outs. I thought there was a chance that this team brought him back, but he's gone. Of course, like I've said a million times, you move Jenkins to the center. Banks goes in left guard. Right guard's unchanged, but still, you feel great about the front 4 or 5 guys. Maybe feel great about that first backup spot, whether it's Ryman or whether it's Morgan. But after that, it's a good bit of question mark. So let's start by talking about the interior, because we know that the exterior is nothing necessarily to worry about when it comes to this team. I got 4 guards I think you guys should be looking at heading into early day 3 of the draft. Miles Frazier out of LSU, Jonah Monheim out of USC, Tate Ratledge and Clay Webb. I really, really like a lot of those guys. If any of those guys' names were called in the 3rd or 4th round, I think I'd be really excited about it. From a depth perspective, though, I really like Monheim's versatility. He's a guy who can kind of play anywhere on the offensive line. And if what Gutekunst said was true, there's going to be a lot of competition. I think that it would be beneficial. And Dylan, we could go ahead and throw up that list 5 before we get to that weigh-in. I think it'd be beneficial to get a guy who can kind of play all over the place, kind of test out a lot of different people. If you look at what he did in college, 762 snaps at left tackle, 807 at center, that's where he played his senior year, 339 at right guard, and 716 at right tackle. So I'd feel great about him being a depth piece anywhere across the offensive line. I think he's kind of my number 1 go-to guy for 3rd or 4th round selections as of right now. But let's talk tackle, shall we? Logan Brown, Charles Grant, Chase Lunt, and Jack Nelson. Those are 4 names I want you guys to be looking at. Logan Brown, the tackle out of Kansas, he's a guy who tested very, very well in the scouting combine, okay? He did a lot of things great. He has great size. He's also got a little bit, pep in his step, which we all know it doesn't necessarily mean a ton for an offensive lineman to be relatively fast, but still, it's good to know that you've got an athletic guy in that offensive line room. And I'll just say this, if the offensive line can't stay healthy in 2025, you should expect another great season. There's a reason that this team, this offensive line group, was a top 6 unit, I should say. Because they're really, really good. Anytime your running back rushes for over 1,300 yards in a season, anytime your quarterback is able to do what Jordan Love was able to do, even though he was injured, even though he didn't have the best wide receiver core, this team protected him well. This team opened up so many holes for Jacobs. This offensive line was great in 2024, and if they can stay healthy, I'd expect the same in 2025. Now, let me know in the comment section down below. We've talked a lot about drafting different offensive linemen at different positions, at different rounds. But let me know right now, what round should the Packers draft offensive line in? Should it be earlier, like 2nd round, 3rd round, or it should be later? 5th, 6th, 7th? I don't know. You let me know your answer down below. As always, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button before you get on out of here. Also, make sure to follow me on social media. My social media will be in the comments and description of today's video.